Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
All right. Hey, guys. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, John Harcar, and we're here today with Major Hillard. And what we're going to talk about is investing in mobile home parks and his journey. Guys, remember, at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, all entrepreneurs 2 to 5x their business. And we do that by providing tools and resources to help grow the business they want to grow and live the life they want to live. So, Major, man, welcome to our show.
Yeah, thanks, John. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about mobile home parks. This has been a topic that actually, a lot of my guests have talked about. But before we kind of really dive into the weeds of all that, why don't you give our audience a little bit of background on you? Kind of what got you into real estate, a little bit about your journey, and what got you here.
Sure, yeah. So early age, my father started investing in residential real estate, more rentals. I'd like to do a lot, buy and hold long-term, refi till you die, that same strategy.
Yeah.
Right, so I grew up though, but the thing is, growing up, as you know, the management and the hassle of the operations is really taxing. So growing up and seeing him leave family dinners, cancel trips, the midnight phone calls, I'd go out with them and unfreeze pipes in the middle of winter. You name it. So it was a real taxing ideal. So I was trying to look for a different way out. So in college, I got into college, and during the 2008 recession was right in my junior year, and I decided it was a perfect time to get into commercial real estate. So
Okay.
I kind of just jumped in. I got my real estate license anyway. I was determined, started working as a management company for Section 8 multifamily units. I'm kind of cut my teeth with that, with commercial, which was, if I can do that during the recession, game on kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so went into that, got out of college, invested and bought about 60 doors myself in Richmond, Virginia, apartment complexes, duplexes, what have you. Still struggling. So working 3 jobs still just to maintain all the mortgages, working security at night at multiple nightclubs, you name it. And then came across this book in my father's house called Deals on Wheels by Lonnie Scruggs. It was about flipping mobile homes. So having experience with my father, I thought, well, I got a couple grand, let's go try it out, and flipped them and was able to quit my jobs after 3 months and 5 houses later with disposable income coming in. And then figured, hey, if I can do homes, why not just do the whole park? So that led me to buy my first park. I bought the park, and then we sold everything else. When I met my wife, we sold everything else and went all into mobile home parks.
Awesome. So let's go kind of back in the day for a second, right? You're in college and you decide that, you want to get into, you're going to do real estate, but you chose commercial.
Right.
This would be a 2-part question. Did all those unfreezing of pipes in the middle of winter and all those things drive you away from the single family part? That's part 1. And part 2, what challenges did you have getting into commercial versus maybe some of the stuff you've experienced with your pops?
Yeah. So seeing that, experiencing the midnight, doing all the evictions myself. Growing up, we really didn't have a babysitter. My father would take me to rental properties, drop me off, and say, hey, pull up this carpet, put up spackle, you know.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Can't tell me evictions I've done, taking trash to the curb. I mean, been there, done that, and then just seeing that firsthand and the time and commitment and the stress. I wanted to find a way to have that passive income, and I love real estate and real assets versus stocks or something that's imaginary.
Sure.
Something to put my hands on, but there had to be a better way, and that's kind of what drove me to it. And then, ironically, it all started from a movie. I'm sure you're familiar with it, Wall Street with Michael Douglas.
Mm-hmm.
You recall he's in a limo talking to Buddy, and he said he bought that apartment building and sold it for $100 million. This and that. And when I saw that, my eyes popped open. I was like, oh, there it is. That's it. So that was about 14 years old when I saw that.
Wow.
And yeah, I've always wanted to get into it. And so to answer the second part of your question, it's extremely hard to get in commercial real estate. So as you know, there's flipping housing seminars, you name it, probate, self-storage, all that. But when it comes to actual commercial, it's very, very a tight niche community, especially at the time. It was like a good old boys network. So coming in new, greenhorn, fresh, no one would give me the time of day. And so I had to really just do all the grunt work to learn. And then, education by myself, investing with my own dollars, and then reading everything I could. And it was just a long process. There's no easy way to get started into it. And then with the past 10 years, with it being a very good and appreciating cycle, it's a little bit easier to get into. There's a lot more education. Obviously online, there's a lot more.
Sure.
Online. But yeah, learning in the beginning was more trial by fire and following different brokers. And I figured, and that was the main reason for getting my broker's license was I need to learn how to do commercial real estate, but I want to invest in it, but I didn't know anything. The best way to learn was for me to help people sell it.
Yeah.
So I can get into their books, get into their mindset, how they manage, and then they just kind of took everything I learned and just started investing myself.
Okay. Were there no mentors available, no kind of mentorships back in those days for the commercial side? Or, because a lot of folks, will maybe seek out a mentor or do the whole YouTube U. I mean, kind of one of the two options.
Yeah, I highly recommend the mentor route. And I wish I could have found one, but again, it was a really tough time. In fact, the office I went into was a premier developer for the Tidewater region of Virginia. And they had a 4-story office building. And the commercial division had, I think, 36 offices. And when I came in, there was only 2 agents working.
Mm-hmm.
So it was extremely tough time then. But there are courses, there are people you can reach out to. There's funds and operators. That's another way, is that there's a lot of funds now, as you know. And so you can invest with them and get your newsletters and ask questions and learn that way with your own money. That's kind of a mentorship. And you can JV with others as well.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I started out, was doing deals and working with others and trying to do favors and, learning every little bit I could.
Sure. Yeah. And that's, if you can find a mentor, that's always going to be the best way because you're going to learn from other people's mistakes. You know what I mean? Yeah. So what type of buildings did you buy commercial? Did you do with commercial? Were they apartments? Were they industrial? What type of commercial were you doing at that point?
So yeah, when I started out, I was managing apartment complexes.
Okay.
Back to my interview was I showed up to a 226 unit Section 8 complex behind a truck stop in Suffolk, Virginia. As with no experience in my interview was I had 2 weeks to figure out who was there, who was leasing, what units were vacant, and collect all the rents. And so that was kind of like, trial by fire there. And then
Sure.
Me personally, I went into duplexes, quads, and a 20-unit plex just because I was familiar with it. I tried doing the selling of industrial and mixed use. That's a whole different.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Each type of commercial real estate is its own animal.
Mm-hmm.
But I really stuck more to the multifamily. But then I realized as I owned it, I was running into the same problems as my father had. Essentially, instead of it being 50 or 60 units spread out across multiple counties, it was just 50, 60 units on one block.
Right.
You're still there. The management's tough. You can try to go third party, which I did. And each time I did, they don't really care nearly as much as you do because you have skin in the game. They don't. And they just work, all the hard work is just kind of running to the ground.
Sure.
So there has to be a better way. And that's, again, that's by flipping homes, I realized in the mobile home parks that I only really own the land and not the home. And so it's easier to maintain land than it is to maintain a home.
Yeah, no, 100%. Okay, so you're doing this commercial stuff. At what point did you, or maybe what triggered you to go say, hey, mobile home parks or mobile homes at the beginning?
Yeah, so early on when I was growing up, we had a family vacation house that was on Tappahannock River, and it was a RV resort kind of style with some rental homes. So seeing the figures of that in high school and in the early college, I realized, those are doing pretty well, and the people are there and they're paying. And I realized too early on, especially with the Section 8, the demand and the list and the waiting list of people of getting into that program is just astronomical, and it's building by the hundreds by the day. So I realized there's only the three biggest markets in the world, as you all know, is water, food, and shelter, right? Those are three necessities. So if I can get the most affordable option, period, in housing, and with the demand for affordable housing, I always knew there's going to be demand.
Right.
The most affordable you can get is a manufactured home community or a mobile home park. And so for me, I consider it a pretty safe and recession-resistant asset just because no matter what, the saying goes in our community, no matter what, if the things are going well, people need cheap housing. If things are going bad, people really need cheap housing. So no matter what, it's just going to continue to appreciate and demand just continues to grow.
So what kind of mindset did you have to have when you're just kind of going into all these different asset classes? I mean, some folks might just try to dabble, but it seems like you went in pretty heavily. So what type of mindset you think helped carried you through all the different changes in the things you were doing?
Sure, yeah. So John, my personality and characteristic type is that you're either all in or you're not in at all. And so you go all in, but that's not to be blind. You have to be risk averse. You have to be able to diversify and alter your course. So I would go in full intent with all the intention I had in the world to make it a 30, 40, year-long process and very successful investment career. But, times change, climates change. A good example is kind of like Detroit. Detroit in the 1960s and 70s was the booming manufacturing capital. But if you look to today, if you held that same asset in that same class in the same location and didn't give up, you'd be bankrupt.
Yep.
So you've got to be able to adjust with the times. And also, life changes. You get married, you have children, you have different goals. I mean, you don't have this, the average American's car doesn't last more than 3 years. It's just because their livelihood changes. So
Right.
once you adapt and figure out what's your best niche, which took me a little while, and once I found that, I really just dug all in.
Are there any specific tools or resources that you use, books that you read, podcasts you listen to, things that kind of help you stay on that path and that mindset?
Yeah, so there's a few really big influential books. In fact, there's one that really got me into real estate altogether because it was a tough time back then. It was the Millionaire Fastland by MJ DeMarco. He's got a new updated one called the Unscripted by MJ DeMarco. E-Myth Revisited, and a few others, but those two are extremely impactful. And that's when, it's tough when you get out of school and you see your friends and they all have, 5, 6-figure salary jobs right out of school, and they're going on their trips and buying all the shiny stuff.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
And I got a beater truck outside that's barely making it, smoking, and I don't know how I'm going to afford, my electric bill this month other than maxing out my credit card. It's a tough time when you don't have that good income to stay the course, and then just realize and putting your head down, trust the plan. You've done the research, the market, have faith in yourself, and then, just let it flourish.
Okay. So let's talk about kind of what's your business now and kind of go a little bit more into the mobile homes and the mobile home parks. What are the pros and cons for you, right, of the mobile homes versus the traditional homes, or the parks versus bigger and commercial?
Right, yeah. So let's go over the cons real quick because there's not that many. The first one is that it's all DMV based. So if you've ever gone to get a new license, how terrible that is. Well, it doesn't get any better when it comes to mobile homes because mobile homes are considered personal property.
Right.
Each one of them has a title just like a vehicle. So that's a little bit difficult. However, it does make it a lot easier to transfer. There's no attorney needed. There's no recording of a deed. So you can move these things fairly quickly. Because of that, it also makes it a little more difficult for banks and lenders to understand, and they kind of see it as more of a liability because they can move around so quickly, as well as insurance. Everybody hears the stereotype, and that's the other thing is the stereotype. There's a stereotype from movies like Eminem, and then from all the 8 Mile Eminem movie,
Yeah.
and then all the tornado alleys, and all that. The stereotype. So that's overcoming that obstacle. However, on the flip side, from where we are now in inflation and affordability crisis, they are really looked at as a favorable housing solution. In fact, Dave Ramsey would always say, "Oh, it's a depreciating asset." That's not. The last 2 years, multiple studies from multiple large organizations, including the Urban Land Institute (ULI), has shown that manufactured homes appreciate at a faster rate than stick-built homes because demand for them is so high, and because of COVID, the supply is so low. They are faster than regular assets. I would say the biggest issues were, again, education, or what there wasn't. And when I started out, there was only one book. There wasn't any education on it. It was very, a niche within a niche kind of thing. And then number two, lenders. Lenders were not very caught on to it. It was more regional or community bank orientated. Larger lenders are getting into it now. However, there are still kind of hiccups with park-owned homes or what have you. So I dove in, what I realized, if I can focus in on these pain points in financing with either deferred maintenance, infill, and park-owned homes, if I can specialize in that niche, I can get really good discounted off-market deals, as well as close on deals no one else can, and we have such a huge ability to increase the market value that it's a win-win.
I love it. Do you ever convert them? Because I know, like, when I've done some, we've done some deals on mobile homes or manufactured homes. They've been converted to real property or things like that. I mean, do you guys ever do any of that?
I've done that before. You can do it on singles, like if you're going to do a parcel and do that. I highly recommend it because once you do that, then anybody can buy it. FHA, VA will finance it.
Right.
But on the park side, no, because really the value is in the land. Now, what makes us a little different too is that from our 12 years of investing this, we've realized there's a couple of real niches and overlooked assets and income streams people that, especially in our business, that really step over. So we're vertically integrated. So we have an acquisition fund, and we have our management company that manages all of our portfolio. Our dealership that will purchase the manufactured homes right off the manufacturer's lot and deliver it, as well as sell it to our tenants. And then finally, our finance company will finance the sale of that to our tenants. So, you can turn one property into four streams
For
of
revenue streams, yeah.
correct. And then it allows us to move more quicker, more efficiently. The tenant's happier, the payment's lower, and then they never want to leave.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, I can definitely see the benefit of that. So, besides, those other cons, I mean, are there any other problems, I guess you could say, or struggles that happen with the bigger parks that you're dealing with?
Yeah, it really comes down to financing. So, like, unlike other multi commercial real estate, you're going to need to put 25 to 30% down.
Mm-hmm.
So, in like FHA and Fannie and Freddie, you can get a 10% down on multifamily. We're going to have to put almost triple
Yeah.
down. The management, what I see time and time again is a lot of guys that come over from multifamily or residential get into it and without proper training or understanding the asset, and especially your tenants, it's a totally different animal than when you have DMV involved. We're really developers without the red tape, and
Mm-hmm.
you got to treat it as a triple net lease. So it's essentially it's a large triple net lease that you're letting units rent your space of land, because really the value's in the land. I see a lot of people put a lot more value into the homes than there really are.
Right.
Um, but yeah, really, it's just overcoming that hurdle of understanding the market, how to manage it, how to underwrite it correctly, and then get the lender on board. Once you can do a few and you've got a good reputation, and then it kind of gets into autopilot, you can really start knocking down good deals.
That's awesome. So, what does your team look like? I know you mentioned your wife. Do you guys have a big team? Do you guys run lean? What do you do?
Yeah, so that's the other thing that makes us great. We're not over indulgent and fat on different people sucking out fees.
Mm,
There's a lot of people that just suck out fees, and I call them deal peps. They just take one deal to another,
right.
suck off a fee, and then appreciate it. We're way more hands on. So it's my wife and I. Then we have a CFO who is actually our accountant. He's been working with us for a little over 10 years. So we saw us start with only $1,500 to build out to over $40 million in transactions just in the past 6.5, 7 years.
Incredible.
And so he came across the CFO. Then we have our managers that are on site. So each community has a manager that lives on site. Our eyes and ears, gives out notices, helps us with contractors. And then lastly, we have a regional. So it's a three-tier management tier structure where you have your on site, your regional, and then it gets on up to us in the corporate office.
Got it. Okay. And how many parks do you own?
So we've sold quite a bit. So we're currently down to 8 parks, a little over. We if we don't sell what we have right now, a little over 800 pads. But to our biggest, we were running a little over 11 parks, 1,100 pads, in three different states.
Wow.
And we live in Florida, and we purchase in the Carolinas, Florida, and Texas. And that's the beauty of these kind of assets is that you can own them and be an absentee owner and run it like a dime without any issue.
That's incredible. Yeah. And yeah, and I've heard a lot about that. And I've heard a lot, like I said, a lot more chatter about this type of asset class. So what trends do you see going in the mobile home park way? Like any new changes or things that you might see as far as regulations or just anything at all?
Yeah, so I'm seeing in the Southeast it's becoming very pro development. There's a lot more call for developments of these type of assets.
Okay.
The demand is extremely high. In fact, when I started out, I was buying homes when I was flipping them about 10, 12 years ago. I was buying homes for about $1,000, $2,000 each, and then selling those homes between 15 to 18,000 on installment.
Hmm.
Well, that same home I would buy for $1,000 back then now costs around 20, 25 today,
Yeah.
and we're selling between 40 and 50. So that's the demand is huge. It's definitely the cat's out of the bag after COVID, because during COVID, and historically, by the way, the return on your investment and the rental retention rates were way higher than any other type of asset. And so because of that, we've had a lot of other operators come into the game, institutional buyers come into the game,
Yeah.
just because it's really seen as risk adverse.
Yeah. Man, what advice would you give to someone who maybe wants to start, maybe jump the asset class, get in there, get out of the single family, wherever, and get into some mobile home parks or mobile homes in a whole?
Sure, sure. So I would advise number one, read whatever you can, but number two, there's a designation in commercial real estate called CCIM. which is a certified commercial investment member. And they offer courses. Anyone can pay it and to go to. I know it's going to be a couple $100, but through that, I went through that. I actually won a scholarship through that through my brokerage at the time. I won some kind of little award, and they paid
Cool.
for me to go. It was like $700, but I learned more in that 3-day course than I did in my entire 12 years prior investment.
Oh, wow.
All through college, just because it really dives into the different assets, how you evaluate them, your caps, your IRRs, your NOI. They explains all that in thorough detail.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone considering commercial real estate, I highly recommend take that to understand the lingo, what the figures are, how to evaluate and how to be more risk adverse versus just diving all in with your cash. It'd be much easier to spend a couple $100 on that to really learn and understand what you're looking at versus just buying something. And the biggest thing is all brokers. I've got lots of brokers that are friends. Brokers of mine that are investors in our own fund, but all brokers' numbers are not true numbers. They are extremely exaggerated. So, and I can tell you from experience, we make it look as beautiful and as positive and as possible, but they're not real numbers.
Yeah. And would you suggest them, someone searching out someone like yourself, maybe an operator that they could, give a little, provide a little value and maybe get a little education?
Sure, yeah. And so the best way, other than learning yourself, is to learn with a mentor. And the best way to do that is through funds. And so someone like us, where we have our fund, and our fund is called MH Estates Capital Partners, which we'll give out the information here in a little bit. But anyone can come in and invest and see firsthand and walk through an actual deal, how we evaluate, how we buy, how we manage, all while your investment is getting a really good return. So you're able to get invested, understand it, and then get a great return. So you're getting paid for your education. You're paying yourself for your education. You're actually making a profit for it. And at the same time, by the end of it, you might see that you really enjoy just the passive income and rather just let it flow. Because there's a lot of people like myself that started out, had multiple jobs or working a really good. It takes a toll on you to learn this stuff.
Sure.
It takes a toll. So if you can invest with someone like us or anyone in the type of asset that you're looking to invest in and get a guaranteed return, I mean, that's music. That's how I wish I could have learned.
Yeah, right. I think that's how everybody wish they could learn. Now, if folks want to get a hold of you, if they want to reach out, talk about your fund, if they want to invest, if they want to, how do they get in touch? How's the best way to reach out to you?
Yeah, perfect. So I'm on LinkedIn, and you can look me up, Major Hillard, the fourth. I'm on Facebook. I'm on TikTok. We're doing a lot of social media campaigns right now. Our website is MH Estates, like an estate, plural, mhestatescapitalpartners.com. You can reach out there, schedule a time. We're available, with it. We'll go on. You can click a link and see what our times are and schedule time for a call. Or search me on social media. We've got all kind of posts being done every day.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, Major, thank you for coming on here and sharing that information, man. It's great, great, great stuff. Guys, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you took some notes and jotted some things down. And if you guys have any interest in getting into mobile homes, mobile home parks, I mean, hey, reach out to Major and just, see what you could do or find someone that's doing it in your area and get that knowledge. Major, thank you again. And hope everybody enjoyed it. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.